Hi, kindergarten readers. My name is Miss Gilligan, and I'm so excited to be here with you today to do a reading lesson. Give me 1 minute, and I'm going to share my screen with you. So, welcome to our kindergarten reading lesson. Today, our learning target, or our I can statement, is I can ask and answer questions about what I read. Let's say that I can statement together. I can ask and answer questions about what I read. Good job. Today, we're going to be reading a nonfiction text called Red-Eyed Tree Frog, written by Joy Cowley, with photographs by Nick Bishop. Now, I know that nonfiction text is written to inform us. We will learn facts and information about the red-eyed tree frog. I also know that nonfiction text has text features, and this text is full of amazing photographs. Notice when I introduced the book, I didn't say illustrated by Nick Bishop. I said photographs by Nick Bishop, because in a nonfiction text, we can see real photographs about our topic. And the topic of this book is red-eyed tree frogs. Now, when we think about asking and answering questions, we need to review our question words. These words are who, what, when, where, why, and how. So when we're reading nonfiction text, we should be wondering about our topic. What do we already know? And what do we want to know? So our question words will help us ask and answer questions. We also need to remember that good readers ask and answer questions the whole time they're reading. We ask questions before reading, during reading, and after reading. So before reading, we should look at the title and the cover, and we should ask ourselves, what do I notice? Then we should think about what we already know about the topic, and then think about what we're wondering, what our questions are. During reading, we will think about the author's words. What facts and information is the author sharing? We can also look at the text features, those photographs we mentioned a minute ago. During reading, we should also check to see if our questions get answered by the author's words, and then think about what new questions we have. And after reading, when we finish the whole text, we can think about the facts and information we learned, check again to see if any of our questions were answered, and then think about what are we still wondering? Because after we finish a book, we may have new questions that we didn't have before we read. So, before reading our text, Red-Eyed Tree Frogs, I'm wondering, where do red-eyed tree frogs live? I'm also wondering, what do red-eyed tree frogs eat? So I use my question words where and what. Now I want you to think about a red-eyed tree frog. What are you wondering? I'm going to pause for a minute. I want you to think. What are you wondering? And then I want you to say your before reading question out loud to yourself or maybe to someone who is there with you. Good job. I hope you used one of your question words to ask your before reading question. So now we're going to start reading. Remember, when we ask and answer questions, we do it during reading as well. So I may stop a couple times to ask a during reading question or to talk about if my before reading questions have been answered. You can think about the same thing. So let me start with our book. Red-Eyed Tree Frog by Joy Cowley. Illustrated with photographs by Nick Bishop. Evening comes to the rainforest. The macaw and the toucan will soon go to sleep. But the red-eyed tree frog has been asleep all day. It wakes up hungry. What will it eat? That was one of my before reading questions. What do tree frogs eat? So maybe my question will be answered. I want you to think about your before reading question to see if it's getting answered as I read. Here is an iguana. Frogs do not eat iguanas. Do iguanas eat frogs? The red-eyed tree frog does not wait to find out. It hops onto another branch. The frog is hungry, but it will not eat the ant. So this page helps me learn a little bit more about my before reading question because it says it will not eat the ant. So if I was wondering before reading, what do red-eyed tree frogs eat? I know now that it's not ants. It will not eat the katydid. That gives me more facts and information. It must not eat insects. Maybe. I'm wondering now if it eats things other than insects. Will it eat the caterpillar? Well, that's still an insect. No, the caterpillar is poisonous. Okay, I'm going to stop here because I want to take a minute to think about my before reading questions. But I remember that we're also supposed to be asking during reading questions. So after reading a few of those pages in our text, now I'm wondering, how does the frog know the caterpillar is poisonous? I want you to think about your during reading questions. Let's go back to the book. That's where it said, no, the caterpillar is poisonous. So how does the red-eyed tree frog know that? Something moves near the frog. Something slips and slithers along a branch. It is a hungry boa snake. The snake flicks its tongue. It tastes frog in the air. Look out, frog. Oh, goodness. I'm definitely stopping here because I have another during reading question. I'm wondering, what will the frog do to get away from the snake? What are you wondering right now? I'm going to wait again while you think. What are you wondering? Say your during reading question out loud to yourself or to someone who is with you. Were you wondering the same thing as me? Maybe I'm wondering what that snake is going to do and how the red-eyed tree frog will get away from it. Let's go back to our text. jump. There's my answer. I asked, how will the red-eyed tree frog get away from the snake? And now my question's been answered. He will jump, and look how long he can stretch his body out. Look at those long legs. So he jumps away from that boa. The frog lands on a leaf far away from the boa. Did your during reading question get answered? How about your before reading question? Keep on thinking. What does the frog see on the leaf? A moth. Now look at that picture. I see the frog has his toes on the moth, but it doesn't look like he's eating the moth. Because remember, one of my before reading questions was, what do red-eyed tree frogs eat? I thought this page would tell us, but I'm going to keep reading because remember, questions can be answered during reading as well. Oh, crunch, crunch, crunch. Now, it says crunch, 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 but the photograph, that nonfiction text feature, has really helped me on this page and the page before to answer my question. Because even though the photograph doesn't show the frog eating the moth here, I do see in the photograph that it looks like it has captured the moth. It has trapped it under his hand. So that helps me to start thinking as a reader about my question, what do tree frogs eat? And then the very next photograph really shows me. And I like how the author used the words crunch, crunch, crunch. He didn't tell me the frog was eating, but he gave me the sound of eating and the photograph. That text feature really helped me. All right, let's keep reading. The tree frog is no longer hungry. It climbs onto a leaf. The red-eyed tree frog shuts its eyes and goes to sleep as morning comes to the rainforest. All right, let's go back for a minute because we also know that good readers ask questions after reading. So we've finished the text, but I'm still wondering a few things. Right now, I'm wondering, how does the red-eyed tree frog hide from its predators? I know that that boa smelled the frog and tried to eat him, so I'm wondering, how does the red-eyed tree frog hide from its predators? Does it use camouflage? I know that you kindergarten readers are learning about camouflage, so I'm wondering that. And after reading the book, I still don't have an answer to my before reading question, where do tree frogs live? So I might need to do some more reading to answer that question. How about you? What after reading question do you have? What are you still wondering about the red-eyed tree frog? I want you to think about it. And after we think, what are you going to do? Yep, that's right. You're going to say your after reading question out loud to yourself or to someone who is with you. So I'm going to wait. Great job. I hope you enjoyed asking questions before, during, and after reading. And I really hope you enjoyed it if your questions got answered. But it's always good to ask more and more questions because the more questions we ask, the more we learn. So even if your questions weren't answered, you can keep looking in other places to find those answers. So today, let's review our learning target. We practiced asking and answering questions about what we read, and we used nonfiction text with text features and facts and information to help us wonder before, during, and after reading. Now, tonight, you have a couple reading response activities you can work on, and you don't have to do them all tonight. You can work on them over the next few days. So first, I want you to spend some time rereading Red-Eyed Tree Frog. I also want you to continue to explore the book, Red-Eyed Tree Frog. This was something that you may have started yesterday. I want you to keep doing that. And then I want you to continue practicing asking and answering questions with a fun, interactive video. Now, this video is going to let you practice asking and answering questions with nonfiction text, but not about red-eyed tree frogs. It's going to be about giant pandas. Ooh, I can't wait to think about, what do I know about giant pandas? What do I want to know? What am I wondering? I want to remind you, when you use the interactive video, remember to use this button that looks like a little wheel to turn the sound on so that the book can be read to you. So you have a couple different reading responses, but I also wanted to share with you some extension activities. So remember how I said that after reading, your questions may not have been answered? You might be wondering some new things or still wondering what you wondered at the beginning. Well, I've given you another nonfiction text called Tree Frog by D. Phillips. So I want you to read that book as well, and it will help you answer lots of questions. It is full of facts and information, and there's even more text features than just photographs in this book. But if you want to read a fiction story about frogs, then I've also given you one there called The Frog Prince by Haley Waters. So that's a paired text. That means when we read two books about the same topic, frogs, but one is nonfiction and one is fiction, because look at that frog. He's wearing a crown and a cape. I'm not sure that that happens in real life. That is fiction. And then I've also linked in a fun song for you to listen to and learn and sing along with. It's called 5 Green and Speckled Frogs. And you can see them, they're sitting on a log. So I want you to listen to that song and practice singing it and see what happens with those 5 green and speckled frogs. So you have lots of fun things to do. Since today is Friday, these are good things for you to do over the weekend. All right, kindergarten readers, it's time for us to say goodbye. There we are. I have really enjoyed doing this lesson with you today. I love nonfiction books, and I love being curious and asking questions. That's what good readers do. So, boys and girls, I want you to have fun with your response activities, have fun with those extension activities, but most important, I want you to remember that we miss you, we love you, and we cannot wait to see you again. So stay safe and well. Bye.